Welcome to my channel again. I want to talk about hypertension. Hypertension, do you know that globally about 1.28 billion people have hypertension? And this, over the last 30 years, it increased from 650 million people to 1.2 billion. This is WHO, World Health Organization statistics, which 700 million people that has hypertension today are not treated. Do you know why? Because they don't know that they have hypertension. And this is one of the simplest things you can easily find out by simply going to the pharmacist very close to you and say, please help me to check my BP. And they will check it for you. And in most pharmacies in Nigeria and in most countries, it's free. If you walk into any hospital, say, I want to check my blood pressure, they will check it for you, it's free. So what is hypertension? Hypertension is when the force of the blood pressure is against the artery wall and is so high. And over time, this can cause heart problem because it's really pumping on the heart walls, the walls of the heart. It can cause heart disease, it can cause kidney problem, and it can cause vision problem. So hypertension can result in stroke. It can cause so many things in the body. So that's why it is important you detect it early. When you detect it early, you can manage it for life. And people have been having hypertension for 40 years and they are alive. They lived up to 100 years. Some people have had hypertension and they live up to 90 years. So if you get hypertension today, it's not a death warrant, but it's how you manage it. What do you do when you have hypertension? And what are the things that makes you to know that you have hypertension? Let me tell you, there is no sign and symptoms for hypertension. Visibly, some people might have headache, some might have dizziness, some might have different forms of symptoms, but generally, hypertension is known as a silent killer. So you will not be able to say, this is what is causing this hypertension. But, that you now have hypertension, you are feeling like there's hypertension in your body. There's nothing like that. So there's no signs and symptoms. Consider it that the best way to find out whether you have hypertension is not to wait for signs and symptoms, is to go and check whether you have hypertension or not. So, what are the things that can cause hypertension? This is what we call risk factors. What are the things that someone will see and you say, okay, I have higher tendency of having hypertension. If anybody in your family, mother, father, relation, anybody that is related to you by blood had hypertension, that is a risk factor. So when there is family history of hypertension. If you are aging, the age alone is a risk factor. From 18 years and above, you are encouraged to always check your blood pressure. Now, another thing is, if you look at yourself, you're overweight, you're obese, it's a risk factor for hypertension. You eat food that has a lot of salt inside it, sodium inside it. Some of this sodium can come as a spice that you have added to food. It's a risk factor for hypertension. Now, also, another thing that can cause hypertension is when you are eating unhealthy food. You eat food that has a lot of fats and you eat excessively, it can cause hypertension. You live sedentary lifestyle, you don't do any form of exercise, you don't do any form of physical activity. Even to take a walk, you don't take a walk. Even to do laundry in the house is difficult. To clean your environment is difficult. If you are always from AC room to AC car to different places, and you find out that your lifestyle, you are living sedentary lifestyle, is a risk factor for hypertension. So another thing that can cause hypertension is lack of sleep, lack of rest. When you have poor sleep, you don't have good rest, you have excess stress, it can cause hypertension. There are some medications that can also cause hypertension, like women that take drugs that are prescribed for them not to become pregnant, we'll call it contraceptives, or steroids. It can increase the blood pressure. So some of these things and many other ones that are common can cause hypertension. So what do you need to do? When do you need to check yourself? From 18 years, if you are 18 years and you are listening to me and you have not checked your blood pressure before, then know that you need to check your blood pressure. You need to check it every year. But if you find out that your blood pressure is a bit higher, but it's not yet categorized as hypertensive, you need to check it every 3 months. If you have the risk factors I have talked about, you're obese, you're overweight, whatever, you need to check it every 6 months. Now, if the risk factors are there, you have sometimes your blood pressure goes up or down, you need to check it regularly, at least twice a week. So, to buy sphygmomanometer, which is blood pressure monitor, there are digital ones you can check at home. You can actually get it in your house and you check it. The best time to check it is either in the morning when you wake up or before you go to bed. So you can check it in the morning or you check it in the evening. These are good times to check your blood pressure. Now, one of the good things you do for yourself is that if you find out that there's tendency of hypertension or there is hypertension present in your body, early enough, you will prevent so many things. Kidney problem, you will prevent diabetes, you will prevent vision problem, you will prevent stroke, you will prevent so many things that could have resulted if you don't find out early. A lot of people come to the hospital on admission, but what actually brought them there is hypertension they never knew. I told you earlier when I started this video that 700 million people do not know that they have hypertension. Are you one of them? Have you checked your blood pressure this year? Have you checked it? If you have not, make sure you check your blood pressure after watching this video. Click subscribe button and watch out for the next video. Thank you.